one of the side effects of choosing to take the red pill, digesting it, and living with that new reality, particularly as a father, is that you will have a couple of tendencies, let's call them that. Not all of them, but one or more. One is to either implicitly or explicitly channel red pill knowledge to your children. Two, they may literally ask you about things of life that warrant an answer, and depending on your child and where they are in life, a red pill answer. And lastly, or third, this is an exhaustive list, just a couple that come to mind. You will come to realize as a parent, as a father, particularly as your children get into adolescence and clearly beyond that into young adulthood, that more than anything you say, they're watching and recording what you do. And based on that, they're going to decide whatever they decide with that interaction. So early on in my children's, I would say, early adolescent, they had enough going on that I never really did anything other than show rather than tell in terms of what I had garnered from digesting the red pill, particularly with my interactions with my wife, as well as with my sister wife when she was around, and other women in general. And really using that as the baseline. And that, again, in my experience, does more in terms of communicating the red pill knowledge, at least in my experience, than implicit or explicit communication. With that said, things progressed as my adolescents got older, and that they would literally ask me specific questions that, for me, the answer changed. For example, I remember a few years back, they got together, my children. I don't know what the discussion came from, but they asked me point blank, do I want grandchildren? And they preface it by saying, nobody's pregnant, but just thinking in the future and the things they saw in our immediate family, and also the nature of our extended family. We come from a heritage that values traditional big families. So it's not an unreasonable question, given that both my grandparents were polygamous, multiple wives. So it's not unreasonable. And my answer, if they'd asked me 10 years earlier, and certainly before the red pill, I wouldn't have said, oh, you must have grandchildren, but I would probably say, you know what, if you have and want grandchildren, that would be great, and probably leave it at that. My answer, when they did ask post-digestion of the red pill, was more, ultimately, it's your choice, but I told them that they should take a cue from what they've experienced in their home and the challenge and expense and the work required to acquire enough wealth, provision, a mate, building a household, and the energy, time, expense to not only raise children, but also to maintain a family, maintain a union, and not to mention the challenges that just come a part of life. And so they should have a real burning desire to procreate and have a family before even considering doing so. And so, to me, that is the message I would also extend to other young men, because I think that the equation is different for women. But for young men, I would considerably, I would spend considerable time in thinking, do I want to have children badly enough to essentially pick up the gauntlet of what comes with it?